Bahareh is a 31-year-old student and women's rights activist, and she's been sentenced to 9.5 years in prison. She's currently serving that prison term right now in Evin prison in Tehran. Bahareh became active in the student movement after she was admitted to university in 2001. She was admitted to undergraduate program of economics in the College of Economy in Tehran University, and she immediately became active member of the student union in that college. Like many of her generation, many of the young people who were born after the revolution came of age and entered society during the time of reform, which promised great possibilities for Iran and for their future. A time where personal freedoms and personal rights were valued, or at least valued more so than ever before. And the country was engaged in a process of reform and trying to make society better. So I think that, people like Bahareh, it made a lot of sense to take up political activity or activity at the university to try to make improvements to society and to their own social circles. So she joined in the student movement not only because she was committed to the issues of justice and reform, but because she moved in step with all of society that was working towards a better Iran. In 2002, a year into her college education, Bahareh was elected as a committee member of the student union in her university. And then shortly after that, because she was so active and her votes were so high, she also became a member of the Office for Strengthening Unity, a national student organization. In that role, she not only advocated for changes at the university level, but she advocated for political reform, along with other student activists. Bahareh set up a women's commission as part of the Office to Strengthen Unity, part of the student organization that she was involved in. And she established this women's commission, and this is, this is sort of the point where she sort of marries her student activism with her women's rights activism and brings it into university. Following the presidential elections in June 2009, when so many social activists, student activists, political activists were arrested. She was arrested largely because she shed light on some of the violence that occurred in the university, and especially the university dormitory. She videotaped 2 messages, and the one right before her arrest was in December on the occasion of Student Day in Iran. She sent it to the European Student Union and criticized the treatment that university students got. The university dormitory was stormed right after the presidential elections, and students beaten up, arrested, and some reportedly killed during that protest. Now, because of her role in the student union and because of her political consciousness, Bahareh chose to speak up about this storming and to really condemn it and ask for accountability on the part of the government. Which it followed with her paying a very high price. She was arrested finally on December 31st, 2009. This is after 2 failed attempts at arresting her prior to this. She was finally arrested in December 31 and sentenced to 7.5 years of prison, mandatory prison term, and her 2 years prison sentence for her activities and her participation in the protest in 2006 was also implemented, making her prison sentence 9.5 years. And so since then, Bahareh has been in prison since December 31, 2009. She has been in prison. So it's been almost 2 years since she was arrested. She has probably the highest sentence issued to her of all women's rights activists currently in prison, and one of the highest prison sentences issued in the case of student activists. And just goes to demonstrate how impactful and effective her work was in terms of advocating for student rights, advocating for political reform, and finally advocating for women's rights, that the system would the security system would be so angry with her as to sentence her to 10 years of prison.